Good morning, welcome to a morning outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 12th of September. So starting off looking at the euro dollar, and well, the euro took a bit of a sell yesterday, back down to that weekly pivot eventually. Having a little bit of a bounce at the moment. Of course, well, the sell-off may have been generated to pre-market nerves, or pre-ECB nerves, which are the ECB press conference is due today. It's at 1:30, but don't, or should I say, remember that at 12:45 we've got the actual details of what they're doing on this particular occasion. So at 12:45, watch for the volatility. There's nothing before then. At 1:30 we do have the ECB press conference, but initially at 1:30 just be wary. Bang on 1:30 we've got the US inflation data, and that is pretty key at the moment, so watch for that inflation data at 1:30. It may be a little bit stifled because of Draghi will be speaking at 1:30, but it's literally on the spot. You'll see the initial movements, which could be caused by US data and not what Draghi's saying. Okay, right. So what's Euro up to? Well, sold off yesterday. Really has sold off yesterday, broke trend lines and everything. Did I trade it? No, of course not, because I said I was going to stay away from it yesterday, and because I expected it to be more like this, but there we go. It wasn't like that at all, was it? Nice move down, but there we go. Up to its daily pivot today. Well, dare I say it, it's probably worth leaving until the news is out, but if it was to break those lows there, the cross I'm seeing an imaginary trend line across here. It's the problem. Someone asked me yesterday when I said, well, I've taken it on the break of the trend line. What trend line? Oh, I better draw it for you. There you go. There you go. So there's the trend line. Maybe if it breaks that early-ish, but there's a risk with that it could just chop, so hence why I stayed out of it yesterday, but there we are. Anyway, watch out for that news later. Anything can happen. Literally. Rally, sell off. The pound, well, the pound, I'm still sort of bullish on the, and I'm still wondering whether we'll see more upside on this. It's sold off a little bit yesterday, but it was pretty much an inside day yesterday, not really moving too much. It's, you see, it's just consolidating at the moment. Pretty much as expected, it pulled off, but eventually back down to its S1 there. But well, back to the underside of the daily pivot at the moment. It looks like it's touched that. If it starts breaking through that pivot, well, of course, we've got immediate resistance. Beyond that, well, yesterday's highs are a possibility. The R1 certainly, but the yesterday's highs, this seems to be selling at that 23.68 area. We'll see how it runs, but for now we're sort of nearish triple bottom. The lows yesterday came down to the bodies of the previous day's candles there. Today so far we just came back to the body of the 60-minute body of the candles the day before so far, but we'll see how this picks up this morning. I do wonder if it will roll a little bit further yet, but would like to see it push up, only because it all makes sense. And love it when a market seems to make sense. Okay, dollar yen. The yen continued seeing the weakness, and I keep on talking about this, but there aren't too many opportunities on retracements. There doesn't seem to be on this. It just seems to have gone this week all the way through. Very shallow retracements on the 60-minute and very bitty. Back to 21 there. Spent a lot of the day there just going sideward. Has got daily pivot below, which could be a draw today. If it starts selling off post 8 o'clock, it may just sort of come back towards that. Now it's missed the daily pivot on the previous 2 days, so well, probability is a little bit higher statistically for that to come back, but we'll see how it runs. I expect the way this is running, probably further upside a bit on the yen at the moment. It seems that it's not reacting too much to that daily 100 yet, but the momentum's built up there a little bit, although the candles are slightly smaller now on a daily basis there. It may just slow up and, as I say, just retrace, have a bit more reaction from that 100. Okay, that's the yen, Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar, I was talking about divergence price action that was sitting across the highs there on the 4 hourly, not come to anything. In fact, it's pushing more. As I said yesterday, you just need to wait until it breaks the lows there, in between the divergence for it to confirm it, and it hadn't confirmed it, so it's continuing up. And if it can consolidate, push up and then consolidate, well, then perhaps it's suggesting that there's possibly more demand to come. And at the moment, it's looking okay. Maybe on the MACDs we've got no divergences whatsoever on this time frame. So it's done its daily pivot, it's done its R1. Not a lot to be chasing or trading for there today, but retracements may give further opportunities for upside, but it's already had a decent range. Canadian dollars, well, yesterday softened against the US. It bounced, so the US dollar gained some ground there. At the moment, it looks like it might just be trying to roll over here, but it really, for me, to see it roll over, I'd like to see it break that 8 and 21 that's sitting below it on the 4 hourlies here. It's right bang into its daily pivot at the moment. See, now you see you've got a complete different picture here that I'm looking at. It sort of goes against the strength of the economy, its fundamentals in a sense when it's pushing up like this. But maybe if the oil price, I need to have a quick look at it. If oil's coming off, it would make more sense. But there could be just a simple break here of this trend line. Now, when I'm looking at simple price, let's just have a look at what's happening with oil. There we go. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so all sold off there. And the Canadian dollar losing a bit of traction. So if this continues in this vein, well, perhaps you could watch that Canadian dollar carry on pushing to the upside. Okay, so that may break that and push up again. Right, that's pretty much it. As I said, news-wise today, 12:45. Watch out for 12:45 because that's when the statement is actually released from the ECB for this month's from their meetings. At 1:30, bang on the 1:30, we should have the US inflation data. The CPI was the more important one. Don't expect it to be particularly high. They're struggling to see any numbers there. If it disappoints, it may put more pressure on the US dollar. And if it comes in over, well, of course that takes that pressure off. But it's expected to come in at 0.1 versus 0.3 last time. That to me is built in. People are expecting the 0.1. As I say, if it comes in at 0.1, well, it may still take a little bit of a dip because of traders just thinking, well, that's not good, and there's more chance of a cut next time. Well, there's a very high probability of a cut in September anyway. Okay, so it may be that they think there's a 0.5% cut coming. So there we go. So watch out for that inflation. Bang on 1:30, then 1:30 Draghi speaks shortly after, well, just after 1:30. Have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.